we've talked a little bit about some of the political stuff, and I don't want to go too deep in politics, but I remember a few years ago you posted that meme with the stick figures of you of you being on the sort of on the center left, and then the thing moves and you're now on the right, and
Elon immortalized the meme.
So talk me through that a little bit more. I've always been more right-leaning conservative my entire life, but I'm curious as to what you've experienced these last few years there.
I mean, so I've always been on the left. I voted Democrat, but I would never say I identified with the party, because the way I approached politics had always been to I look at the political playing field and where are my values reflected, and that's kind of where I'm going to vote. And that used to be, I guess, center left, and so on the cartoon, that's kind of where I am. And then the person to my left, I assumed was like a fellow liberal, and I use liberal in the classical sense because that's kind of what I am. I'm kind of like a Bill Maher liberal, I guess, where, limited governments, but personal freedoms, that type of thing. But I'm not, socially conservative. So that's kind of where I felt comfortable. And, they were a little to my left, but it's like, whatever, we're basically this
same side,
same side, at least I thought. And then it was when the woke stuff took over, which was, to me, one of the most illiberal ideologies there are. It's all about censorship. It's very authoritarian. And so a lot of the values that I had that made me be on the left and be a liberal was, things like, I guess, racial issues, which the left has kind of moved away from in terms of the DEI stuff, the CRT. I used to be I still am the judge people by the content of their character stuff, the Coleman Hughes side. And now, a lot of the CRT, DEI stuff is like just explicitly prioritizing racial quotas for different things, and it's not merit-based. And so, that's something that lost me. I always thought women and their reproductive rights were important, women's rights just in general. And, now the left doesn't know what a woman is, and so you can't give something rights if they don't know what it is. They can't actually classify it and describe it. So they lost me on that one.
Freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech is the other major one. When I started seeing people on the left say freedom of speech, and they'd use scare quotes or like so-called freedom of speech, and just how they actually were super authoritarian, at least when I started saying true things about biology, it didn't align with their politics somehow. And so, they tried to ruin my entire career. And they probably ruined my, so I was a postdoc at Penn State at the time, and I was on the job market looking for tenure track jobs, and people would post on the biggest job boards there are that everyone in my field goes to. They would post these job listings, but they weren't job listings. They were just statements about Colin Wright is a white supremacist, transphobe, don't hire him, he's at Penn State, all this stuff. And I can't delete them. I have to contact the board moderator, and everyone in my field is seeing this. People had told me they'd contacted places that I was applying to, or any job that was offering for a behavioral ecologist. They would just send emails to them telling them not to hire me. I talked to people who were in departments, and they said how they liked my work, but they don't even let the actual scientists of the department make hiring decisions anymore. It has to go first through a filter of the DEI HR department, and they're like, there's no way your application is going to get even through. And so I ended up leaving on my own, because it's just the whole environment was so toxic, and the activists had tried to make it even more toxic for me and destroy my reputation. And so, so free speech, the women's rights, racial issues, those are probably pretty big. They're big things.
What about stuff like, safety and security and borders, or lack thereof?
Yeah, that too. That too. Those are also big. Yeah. And I've just kind of more, I now consider myself probably center right, whatever left and right means nowadays. That's just kind of where I am right now. That's what my cartoon meant to show. I kind of updated it, having like the left going, meeting the far right again, because you get, Konstantin Kissins talks about the woke right now, and
I say it's like Pac-Man. The old school Pac-Man arcade.
You go off one side.
Yeah, you go all the way to the far right. You pop out on the far left, and vice versa. I think that's what happens in reality. because some of these things are just something that struck me when you were saying that was I was just thinking that that's actual wicked behavior for someone to go to the board or like people, colleges or jobs someone's applying for or something like that, and to be sending these like false accusations and slandering. Like to me, that's wicked, evil behavior. Because I can't like fathom myself doing that.
It's even the most stressful time of my entire life.
Yeah, like even if I thought there could be someone out there who I think has just bad ideas. I don't like them. I don't like their personality. I disagree with them. All this, it would never even cross my mind. And I'm busy. Like, I don't have time. Let me go and find out. Let me do all this research on them. Like, let's get a whole team and let's just try to destroy their life, destroy their ability to earn a living, and for to support their family. To me, that's evil. That's wicked behavior. That's like a line that's crossed where you just don't do that to people. Even if in your case, it's even more ridiculous because it's not like you're even if
the most benign thing in the world.
Yeah, you're a mild-mannered guy. You're a decent guy. I know you, and it's so odd because I find that to this day, a lot of people like to, especially people who maybe are naturally more liberally inclined and have kind of been more on that side, they often feel that they need to defend it and be like, oh, like, they're actually really nice people. But I'm like, look, if someone is engaging in that behavior, you are not a nice person. If you are going and you're trying to mass report someone's account to get them suspended or deleted from something or whatever because they said something, like that's not nice behavior. Mm-hmm. That is not, if you're a genuinely good human being, no matter how much you may disagree with someone or even dislike the things that they post or whatever, you just don't do that. It's too severe. Just like you don't engage in violence, right? When you're getting these people, whether it's Antifa or whatever, and you're going out there on the street and you're physically attacking people because you don't like their views, you're not the good guy.
Yeah.
You're not the good guy. There's a lot of people in this world I disagree with. I disagree with everybody on something. But the idea that I'm going to go out on the street and start physically attacking people because I disagree with them, I don't know, socially, culturally, religiously, politically, whatever, everyone would be like, yeah, you're the extremist, buddy.
Yeah, well, this is how they keep people with really normal opinions from ever saying them, is because they swarmed really hard when they saw vulnerability that I was a postdoc and I don't have a tenure track job yet. Maybe I had like 10,000, 15,000 Twitter followers at the time.
Yeah. And
they went completely nuts, and it was the most anxiety-filled time of my entire life, for sure. Because I was like, I've been studying this for 12 years. I just got my PhD, a year ago, and like now everything's ruined. Like, what do I do? But now that I have way more Twitter followers than I had then, they don't bother me anymore because they can't do anything. I've become uncancelable. Yeah. I can just say like whatever. I don't have to like cower and be like, I hope my advisor doesn't find out about this. So it just shows you the insidious nature of what they're doing. It's like they go after the people that they think they can get a scalp from that person and that person. And if they thought they hate me, they tried to come after me by going after DonorBox. I got kicked off of PayPal for life.
Wow.
Etsy, lifetime ban. Again, just for saying there's only two sexes. I mean, the PayPal was ridiculous because I was using that just to get donations.
Yeah.
And there was even nothing associated with it. It just just nuked it from orbit. PayPal just nope, violation. And then they tried to go after DonorBox to keep it so I could get, donations that way.
This is evil behavior.
Fortunately, Substack is good. And that's where I'm making most of my income is Substack. It gives me the ability to speak freely and to be here and drive myself, put gas in the tank and more. So I just got a home. But I don't know what I would do without some of these things. But being uncancelable, they don't even care anymore. I mean, they care because I'm there's no wedge, there's no inroad to do any of that. I mean, I think in the end they really messed up because it would have been probably in their best interest to just let me get that tenure track job and just study bugs for the rest of my life and have me just do that. That's what I have. We have some students here because now I'm in the courtroom battling their ACLU lawyers, getting the law changed in a bunch of states in Australia and in Alberta, Canada now. So created a monster.